Like, if I call you my brother, you know what it is. And breaking the code, I could be calm, cool, collective. If we start wildin', I'm changing the mode.
Welcome back to the Harding Way, everybody. Today, we're going to make our week 3 picks. We did it in week 2, didn't do week 1, because like I said, this week 1 is craziness. But then week 2 somehow proceeded to have more crazier things happen. If y'all didn't check the video out, I went 7 and 9 on my picks. I'm not horrible. I'd like to stay above 500, but I ain't going to be too mad because some teams really decided just to, wet the bed on her, brother. Looking at you, Dallas, Baltimore, Philly. I don't know what's going on with y'all. Like, y'all just really have very simple games. I could have been 10 and 6, y'all. Them three, they just want to mess it up for everybody. But anyway, we gonna move on to week 3. We gonna put week 2 in the past. We're gonna make our week 3 predictions. Also, I've been told to incorporate the spread, so I'm just gonna say this now because I've checked the spread. Whoever I pick, that's who I'm going with in the spread as well. I've checked to verify to make sure before I did that. So I don't gotta bring up the numbers because I've just looked and I realized everybody who I pick, that's the spread I'd go with. But anyway, let's party. We'll start with Thursday Night Football. The Patriots going to MetLife to play the Jets. Now, credit to the Jets. They went and got back in win column. I attribute most of that to Will Levis playing terribly, which I talked about in my last video about the week 2 winners and losers. But a team who looked good even though they didn't lose was New England Patriots. So honestly, I don't care if they're on the road. Give me the Pats in this one. I have the Thursday night upset ready and brewed. I think New England's going to do it. But now, we head to 1 o'clock with the first game of 1 o'clock slate on my list. I don't know what to call this one. I want to call it the Booty Bowl because these are just two rough teams. But one's way worse than the other because one team, can still lose while allowing no touchdowns. Looking at New York. So give me Cleveland. Not much to say on that game. I clearly, it's just who's worse, and I think the Giants are worse. So the Browns will figure out a way to score a couple of times and seem like they'll win probably. Next up, though, speaking of Tennessee earlier, they're at home versus the Packers. Give me the Malik Willis revenge tour. Give it to me. I mean, the Titans looked horrible. Their coach has to be yelling at their quarterback like a 5-year-old as he carelessly turns the ball over. So, without a doubt, no issues at all. Give me the Packers in this one. I doubted them last week. I'm going to shut my mouth now, stop doubting them. Give me Green Bay. Next up, though, to who Green Bay beat last week, the Colts, who will be at home and have the Chicago Bears coming to town. I really don't know who to pick in this one. This one's a little tough. It's a little close. But honestly, at the end of the day, I think Indianapolis will get their first win. I really do. So give me Indy. I feel like they're going to get back and win column and figure it out. Chicago's offensive line looks really rough, so I feel like that's going to be what saves Indy in this battle. And Anthony Richardson, although looking rough, I think they'll figure it out at home. They look really good week 1 at home, so I think they might be one of those teams that are just going to look good at home. And so for that, give me Indy. Next up, though, we went from like a team I don't know who to pick because they're both kind of rough to I don't know who to pick because they're both kind of good. We got the Texans and Vikings. Honestly, part of me believes the Vikings are looking really good this year, but the Texans honestly just might be the best team in football right now. I know everybody's gonna be like, well, they looked a little rough, but I'm like, nah, something about them. They look like one of the best teams in football. So without a doubt, give me the Texans in this one. I think Texans are gonna go into Minnesota. Also, Justin Jefferson's availability is in the air. By the time you're seeing this, it might have been ruled out or in. I'm not completely sure when I'm recording this. But as of right now, given his availabilities in the air and Texas look good, give me Houston. We also now have, though, the Eagles and the Saints. And as much as I was just trashing Philly, part of me really wants to pick them. And I'm going to. I am. I know New Orleans has looked really good, and I've picked against them once. But I really feel like Philly needs to get back in the win column, and as much as New Orleans looked really good, and they're at home, this 40-point barrage is going to stop eventually. I'm afraid that might quote my age terribly, but I'm assuming the 40-point barrage is going to end. So give me Philly in this one. I almost want to say an upset, because that's what it feels like, weirdly enough. So yeah, give me Philly. But then we go back to a team where it's like they're both looking a little rough, but they're both looking kind of good, I guess. It's very confusing, but we have the Chargers and Steelers. And, it's one of those things where the Chargers look really good. Their run game's amazing. I've talked about J.K. Dobbins on this channel. Um, you know, it's just the way the Steelers always find a way to win that part of me really wants to believe in Pittsburgh at home. And so I'm just going to trust my gut on this one and not bet against Mike Tomlin because they always find ways to win. And even though their offense doesn't always look great, I believe the Bears should have kept Justin Fields. And I feel like he's proving that right now. And because Mike Tomlin and that defense always finds ways to get stops and find ways to win, I'm going to trust Pittsburgh. I'm going to trust them. And then to another team that's easy to trust in this matchup, you got the Broncos and the Buccaneers. I don't think there's much discussion here. Tampa Bay all the way. Next, because come on. The Broncos have looked horrific. All the rookie quarterbacks have looked really rough for the most part. But yeah, Bo Nix he's looked real rough, without a doubt. Give me the Buccaneers. And then another pick that is an easy sweep, not because the Raiders look good, but because the Panthers are that bad. Once again, don't think there's much discussion here. Give me Oakland. Oh, Las Vegas. Just kidding. Give me Vegas. I still feel like they're in Oakland in my mind. I'll be so real with y'all. But yeah, give me Las Vegas. Give me them Raiders. Let's party. Next, we have the Seahawks and the Dolphins. They're in Seattle. Tua's on IR. I don't think there's much discussion here. Seahawks are 2-0. I'm not writing off Geno like everybody else did. So give me Geno Smith and the Seahawks. Easy pickings. And now to what might be the game of the week. Only because whoever loses this game is in major trouble, in a sense. It is the Ravens and the Cowboys. Both teams need this win sorely. But I think Baltimore needs it more than Dallas. Because hear me out, Dallas is 1-1, Baltimore's 0-2. If Baltimore gets to 0-3, you can pretty much kiss the playoffs goodbye. There's not much coming back from that. So I think Baltimore realistically, honestly, without a doubt, needs to win this game. And so I'm going to assume they're going to get the job done this week. Like they couldn't last week. But I'm gonna assume that they realize they have to get their stuff together. Especially the offensive line. Because they're another one that's Swiss cheese. Just all type of holes. It's terrible around there. But I think they're going to figure it out. And they're going to win. And then we go from game of the week to the injury bowl. Because we have the 49ers and the Rams. Ain't nobody's been hit with the injury bug worse. But technically, of who's got it worse, the Rams have no receivers and no offensive line. The 49ers have no offensive weapons besides George Kittle. So I'm going to take the 49ers, assuming that George Kittle's going to have the game of his life with no one else to throw the ball to. And I'm assuming the defense of the 49ers are going to give Matt Stafford a horrible time since there's no one blocking them. They're out there just letting them all through. So, given the injuries, the Rams' offensive line and offense is pretty much crumbling apart. So give me San Fran, without a doubt, just because of the injuries, honestly. But then to a game where I just might go with an upset here. Call me crazy. But in the Lions versus the Cardinals, I know the Lions have Super Bowl aspirations. But I'm going to take the Cardinals on this one. This is my upset of the week. Kyler Murray looked really good last week. Marvin Harrison Jr. popped on the scene. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be the first son of a really all-time elite athlete and actually not end up being complete trash. Because no disrespect, but I really believe with all father-son sport duos, one of them is mid while the other one's great. But this might turn out to them both being great. So we'll see. But yeah, give me the Cardinals for the upset. I like their odds, especially the way that Chris Godwin had a game against them. Cooper Kupp did in the passing game. I feel like Marvin Harrison Jr. is primed and ready to have a back-to-back crazy performances on his case to just might win Offensive Rookie of the Year because the quarterbacks are looking horrific and they seem like they don't want it. So who's next? But then we're going to hit to some Sunday night football. We got the Chiefs versus the Falcons. And yes, Kirk Cousins saved his job last week. But I don't see how they're beating the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs have pretty much won without using Travis Kelce, so I'm assuming that eventually he's going to show up again. And if not, they still have Rashid Rice and Xavier Worthy. So, hear me out. I don't see why anybody would bet against the Chiefs. If anything, this is going to be like my lock of the week in the survivor pool, even though technically my lock of the week last week sold me in the Ravens. But I'm just saying, give me the Chiefs in this one, no doubt about it. But then we have a Monday night doubleheader. First game of the Monday night doubleheader, we have Bills, Jaguars. Give me the Bills. Not much conversation there. The Jaguars ain't like that. As much as I think Josh Allen is a little rough, he's good enough to figure it out here. Plus, they beat the Dolphins and all that mess last week. So maybe I was sleeping on the Bills a little bit. But without a doubt, this one, give me the Bills. I don't think there's much conversation here. Give me Buffalo. And then Washington versus Cincinnati. I'm going to shock y'all. I think Cincinnati's going 0-3. I'm going to win an upset. Give me the Washington Commanders. Jaden Daniels is the one rookie quarterback who has looked okay. He still ain't thrown a touchdown. And I think that's kind of funny. I just want to let everybody know out there, at the point of this video, you have thrown as many touchdowns as all the rookie quarterbacks in the NFL. You should put that on your resume. But all jokes aside, I really think the Commanders have looked half decent and they've kind of improved game by game. And I think they're going to beat the Bengals at home. And the Bengals are going to go to 0-3. And we're all going to realize that besides that one magical run Joe Burrow had, he's been alright. And Jamar Chase does more complaining about being the best receiver than actually being the best receiver. The best receiver is Justin Jefferson, his teammate at LSU. But yeah, that concludes my picks. Give me Washington on the upset. I appreciate y'all coming through. If y'all want to subscribe and hit those, bells and wings and things down below, it'd be much appreciated. But as I like to say, ain't no like the Harding way. Peace.